It's good, y'all. Welcome back to Niner Wire. I'm your host, Sam, and today we are going to be doing some positional rankings for this upcoming draft. So what we did is we did position rankings top 10 for quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, O-line, interior defensive line, edge, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. And we're going to be doing them with Jake. I'll introduce him in a minute. But before I get into that, make sure to follow me on Twitter at Stone Cold Kittle. I tweet a lot of Niners stuff, a lot of other sports content. If you want more on this channel, you make sure to follow that. Also, you can also watch my old videos, but if you want more updates and everything, make sure to follow me on Twitter. Also, if you have any questions that you want me to answer in the video, leave them in the live chat or the comments below if you're not watching live. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So I'm going to be doing this with Jake right there. He did the mock draft as well. It's just gonna be us two today, ranking each position. How you doing, Jake?
Good. How about you?
Pretty good. I'm ready to get into it. So we're going to put our rankings right here, a little visual. It's a presentation, and we're just going to be talking about each of our top 10 prospects for each position. Pretty straightforward. You ready to get into it?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. So let's start off with quarterback. So we both have Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, and Jordan Love as our top three quarterbacks. And I think Joe Burrow is obviously the number one pick. I think we can both agree on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I would say for him is that his ceiling might not be as high as Tua or Love, but I mean,
it's the lower risk pick. That's why he's going number one. And then Tua, second best quarterback in the draft. You could arguably say he was the first. Well, he definitely was the first before his injury.
I would say that. I've seen him slipping out because didn't he fail 2 physicals recently?
I did not hear about that, actually. I did not. I heard he did like a virtual pro day that went really well. I didn't, and I heard that doctors cleared up his hip injury.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but we'll see what happens. But I think he'll. I still have him going 5 to the Dolphins. I think. Did you have it differently?
Well, in my last mock, I had him going, I think, to the Chargers at 3. They traded.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chargers trade up. I think they're either going to be taking Tua or Justin Herbert. But I, as you can see on our list, Justin Herbert isn't the number 3 quarterback. It's Jordan Love. I think the reason I think you can probably agree on this is that I think Jordan Love, he's kind of like that guy, kind of like Patrick Mahomes. Like he has so much talent that you could use for him, I feel like, but he just needs to develop it more. So I feel like a team that, like, kind of how the Chiefs did, they put him behind Alex Smith for that 1 year, and then now Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback in the league. What do you guys say to that?
Yeah, I guess I somewhat agree with that. I just think that he's the guy with a million excuses for why he hasn't succeeded, and that's not quite what I want. I think that obviously there's a large drop-off after Burrow and Tua.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think I more have him listed at 3, not because of his own talent, but because of the lack of it in all the other quarterbacks.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see anyone else being a first-round talent. Honestly, I don't think he is a first-round talent. He's super developmental, like you said. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I have him going in the top 20, but that's just because you have the quarterback jump, which is generally a round or 2 to where they should be.
Yeah, I get that. So wait, you were hold on. Wait, can you put in headphones because it's kind of echoing?
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, I just heard my voiceover. Just do that. If I can take you off the stream really quick, and I can talk for a bit if you want me to.
Yeah, let me go grab headphones.
All right, sounds good. So it's just gonna be me for a bit. So number 4, we'll talk about this later with Jake, but I have Justin Herbert at number 4. I want to ask Jake about he said that only Tua and Joe Burrow were the first-round talents. I think Herbert's probably going to go top 10 I still have him going 6 to the Chargers. I think that's probably going to happen unless they think Tua's their guy. But I think you could interchange them. I think Herbert's one of the most NFL-ready quarterbacks. He was probably going to be a top pick last year, then made, in my opinion, the mistake to go back to school. But it is what it is. But yeah, I think he's definitely a first-round talent. I have him behind Love because I think Love just has that higher ceiling. So, yeah, that's why I have Herbert at 4. And then from there, like 5 and on, I really think I don't really know. Here, Jake's back, so let's just talk about Jake. So I was just you can hear me?
Yeah.
All right. So I was just talking about how you said that the only 2 first-round talents were Joe Burrow and Tua. I feel like Herbert's that first-round talent. I want to hear what you guys say about that. Or
I
do you just not like him at all?
I really don't. From what
You
I've
really
seen
don't?
from him, he is the guy who he passes the eye test, and I think that's something that gets overdrawn so much in his he's 6'5", 6'6" or something.
Yeah, and he can like
I mean,
run too.
He's a big dude. He's just athletic, and that's not like
That's not exactly what you want. I get
he's
that.
not shifty enough as a runner, or like it's just pure athleticism, and people figure that those guys will succeed when so often they don't. And he doesn't have he's not that. I'm not saying this is an excluder, but he's not that big leader, or he's not that 2 minutes and he's gonna go drive you down the field. He doesn't have that intangible quality. I mean, he literally has a plan for after he's a quarterback. When I know that's about being smart and planning out your life, but you gotta think that is the thing that's gonna take you all the way.
Yeah, I get that, and I think for Herbert, I have him going 6. Where did you have him going again? I had him 6 to the Chargers.
I think I had him falling, and then the Colts trading up.
Dude, that is the perfect fit for him. I gotta say, that is a perfect fit.
I think. Well, I mean, you have obviously Brissett and Rivers
and
there,
Rivers, so he can stay. He can stay there. Well, I think Rivers is probably going to be done after this year. I really don't think he's going to lead that team to success at all. Really, I feel like
I think he's done there. I think he finds another spot. I don't see he's that uber competitive guy, and I think he's going to be a great announcer, to be honest, for years to come.
We'll
but
see.
I don't think his competitive spirit is gone in football yet. He's 37, 38?
He's old. I don't know. He's been there forever, I feel like. So, but yeah. All right, let's move to number 5. So this is oh wait, no, you didn't talk about your number 4. You had Anthony Gordon at number 4.
I have Anthony Gordon. This is one where I value what he showed me in college more than how he really projects, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, you look at Mike Leach's system that always produces that number one statistical guy, the Gardner Minshew's, I don't even know, to be honest, the other ones, but he's a guy who had the experience. He came in as a graduate transfer to Washington State, and he killed it.
I feel like everyone does that now. Everyone comes into Washington State as a grad. Minshew was a transfer. Was Luke Falk a transfer?
I don't.
He killed it. I feel like he killed it there, but he wasn't. He hasn't panned out in the NFL. But that's a story for another day.
I mean, Gordon is I just think that he has the chance to be a late round. I have him projecting in the 3rd, just because most people have him 4th or 5th. But I could see him being picked because of that. What happened with Gardner last year, where he's
definitely
now the starter in Jacksonville, and I don't know if they see him as their super franchise quarterback yet. But some team's going to take a flyer on him.
Oh yeah, totally. I think probably. I'm thinking 4th or 5th round to him. I have him at number 6. We can talk about that a bit later. But let's move on to number 5. You have Jalen Hurts there. I'm sorry, I was looking at my notes, but you have Jalen Hurts there. I have Jake Fromm. I totally see why Jalen Hurts is there. I think who had him in the mock draft going 31 to Indy? I think that was Julian, right?
I don't know.
I think he can go 1st or 2nd round, honestly, but probably going to be more 2nd to 3rd.
He's that what I said, that I don't think Herbert has, that intangible quality that kind of makes him a winner. I think that Hurts does have that. I mean, obviously you're going to win some games if you play at Oklahoma and Alabama.
Yeah.
But he also won 2 starting jobs, and I know he lost it to Tua, but that was
kind of because he got hurt. He was going to start either way if it wasn't for his injury, I feel like.
I think that, and I know that it's going to be a long road, I feel like, for him to become an actual franchise quarterback. So
he has a lot to do.
For me to say that he's a first-round talent because those are guys that you say that's what I'm betting my future on.
I wouldn't say first round talent, but I can see him going first round if like a team is really desperate for a quarterback.
Well, yeah, quarterbacks are somewhat different in that way where you'll see teams reach, I feel like.
Totally.
But
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, but I mean Jones was going to go in the first round. He just wasn't.
No, he was I think he was probably going to go like I think a lot of boards had like Drew Lock over him.
Well, okay, but Drew Lock did fall a good amount.
Drew Lock fell, and then Daniel Jones, that was I think it was just a reach because it was like 6th overall, ahead of Josh Allen, who was unanimously.
But I think a lot of people thought he was going to go to the Giants at 17. I think
17. I think that was no one expected at 6, but 17 was a
pretty common pick. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. My number 5. I have Jake Fromm here. I think he has the traits to be like a good NFL quarterback. He just needs a lot of development. And I feel like that's kind of the case for all of the rest of the quarterbacks on the list, besides like maybe like 9 and 10, which we'll talk about, at least my 9 and 10, which we'll talk about later. But
I kind of disagree with that, but I'll talk about that when I get to Fromm.
But I think he's probably going to be another day 2 pick from what I'm feeling like. Depends. Obviously, it's so hard to predict where quarterbacks go unless it's like Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, maybe Justin Herbert. We'll see what the Chargers do.
Yeah, I see Fromm as a 2nd or 3rd round pick. I think that some team will fall in love with him.
Oh yeah, totally. That's what I have.
I'll talk about him in a bit. Okay.
All right, let's move on to number 6. So I have Anthony Gordon here. I feel like he's kind of like Fromm, except he just needs a bit more. Oh wait, no, yeah, he just needs a bit more development. I feel like Fromm, like again, kind of like we were talking about Jalen Hurts and Anthony Gordon. Like Hurts is a winner, Gordon is not. That's why Hurts is probably going to go over Gordon. And like I kind of feel like the same way with Fromm. Like he's known to be a winner at Georgia, obviously. So I feel like that's why he's probably going to go ahead of Anthony Gordon. But
yeah, I mean, Fromm and Gordon are. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it's hard to compare a lot of guys with Jake Fromm because Fromm is the guy who is uber smart and he knows what's going on, leader in the huddle. He's everything you want out of a quarterback except for the measurables.
Yeah,
he's not big. He's not fast. He doesn't have a strong arm.
Weak hands, or like small hands, I should say.
It hurt him a lot at the combine. I think obviously they said if you combine him with an Eason or a Gordon with that cannon and like that height, he's going to be a first-round talent. But he just doesn't have that. And I could see him they compared him to Colt McCoy.
That's a horrible. Yeah, that's never a good thing to have.
Not his play style, but he'll be like a 10-year backup in the NFL who won't really excel in his opportunity. Like, who was the guy for Chicago last year? Chase Daniels. Made like $30 million off 2 starts.
Yeah. Was he a first-round pick? I saw his name somewhere.
Chase Daniels.
So I saw his name somewhere the other day. It wasn't with it. I was like that rang a bell, and I looked him up. He played for the Bears. I forget where it was. Might have been something. It might have been something with the Niners. I don't know. But anyways, I don't
remember him.
I remember there was something that rang a bell yesterday, but we're kind of getting off topic. So so you have Justin Herbert at number 6, which I think a lot of people would probably laugh at you for, considering that most people have him going top 10.
Well,
so what do you guys think of that?
I see him going top 10, but again, it's because of the teams that are picking in the top 10 are so desperate for a quarterback. And I feel like this year is different because we've had all these quarterbacks for years and years and years, like Brady and Breeze and maybe even Rodgers, who were their franchise cornerstones and they didn't even consider taking a quarterback, right? Well, this year it kind of changed where now there are teams the back end of the draft who also are quarterback needy. So the teams at the front who maybe Herbert's a 2nd-round talent. Let's say he's a 2nd-round talent. They can't afford to wait for him to fall to them early 2nd round because he
totally.
So that is something that's unique that I feel like made Herbert's stock go up. And I think he did really well in his interviews too.
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
sometimes gets overblown.
Yeah. All right. I want to move on to your number 7 because I saw in your other slideshow, which by the way is also on this link right here that I've posted right now. This is Jake's Draft Hub. He's posted a lot of content there, mock drafts. All these player rankings are on there. I think. He'll talk about some busts and steals and everything. And one of the steals, you had Col Mcdonald as one of the steals. I want to hear about that because I don't have him in my list.
Yeah, I have him here. Let me scroll up to my. I mean, he's got what you are looking for, and I compare him a lot to Justin Herbert, honestly, because he is like tall, fast, athletic, cannon of an arm. I don't really know his personality because he's not like that big a prospect, but he's got similar tools, like those raw tools and game breaking abilities, but you're going to get him 4 rounds later. And I have him going in the 5th because I think some team is just going to absolutely like take a flyer on this freak potential.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking it's definitely gonna be a day 3 pick for sure. But I don't know why I don't have him in my list. I feel like he also could really pan out to be good. I feel like again, kind of like he might not be NFL ready from what I've been reading.
Oh yeah, that's not even close.
Yeah, that's why I don't have him there.
Like
that's never
Mountain West.
Yeah, it's never that. Oh, wait, Derek Carr is one guy that came out of that. It was pretty good though, but
yeah,
that was a while ago.
He won out his job outright in the first year, so
yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with him. All right, my number 7. This is a guy that we're both really not that high up on. That a lot of other scouts are really high up on. I've seen some rankings having him going over Jordan Love, which I think is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's
Jacob Eason. I feel like again, kind of like my 5 and 6, Fromm and Gordon. I feel like he's just worse than them. He's way too raw. I feel like he should have stayed at Washington for another year, probably. And I think a lot of scouts would agree with me. And I feel like he needs to develop even more than Gordon. So that's why I have him going number 7. You have him going I have him ranked number 7, but I think he's going to be probably a 2nd or 3rd round talent. Considering like he is talented, don't get me wrong, but he's just like really raw and he needs to be developed a lot. So that's my number 7 quarterback, and you have him at number 8. Let's talk about him right now for you.
Yeah, 8. I disagree.
You disagree? All right.
He isn't that talented. Like I watched him at Washington and I watched them blow so many games, and obviously, I didn't watch a ton of Washington football, but whenever they played Cal or maybe they were the game of the week or something, it was always like 14-10 or all these games where he couldn't get it done. And I mean, when I came back and watched him, the ball wobbles coming out of his hands a lot. He can't throw on the run. He's not elusive or fast. He has that strong arm with decent accuracy downfield, but he doesn't have the look of a starting quarterback.
Yeah, he's not going to be a starter in the league. I'm just going to say that right now. He's not. He's never going to start in the NFL from what I'm feeling.
And he doesn't look like a guy to me, based on what the NFL has decided a franchise backup quarterback looks like. Like we said, a Chase Daniel or a Colt McCoy or those guys that you feel confident in to be a game manager. Because that's kind of what you're looking for in a backup. Someone who, if your starting quarterback gets injured, he's not going to be like bringing in like high school quarterback and
exactly
completely break down. You just want someone who can hand the ball off, make his throws, and Eason is not that guy.
Yeah, all right, I get that. And that's kind of like why we're both not that high up on him. So, I mean, I think he would be an okay backup, but we'll see what happens. But my number 8, I have Hurts here. I think you could really 5 through 8, you could really shuffle up if you really wanted to for me. But I have Hurts here because I feel like he's a bit inconsistent in the passing game, which you need for the quarterback. He tends to make some poor throwing decisions. Obviously, really talented. But I feel like he's also whenever he can run, he will run, and that's not something you necessarily want for the quarterback. So that's not that good of a decision maker, a game manager. So again, kind of the raw talent going. Well, I wouldn't say a raw talent, but like he's going to need some development in the NFL. I feel like before he's ready to start at a position. That's why I feel like, as we were saying earlier, Indy's a perfect fit because you have two quarterbacks who are probably going to start over him that you can easily develop him with. So
yeah, in no way am I making this comparison, but they said the same things about Cam Newton, where he looks to run before he passes. And obviously Cam's a lot bigger, but the example is he did deal with those injuries throughout his career, and he's kind of had to come to pay for them now, where he's not even getting signed after winning a Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl.
That was 4 years ago, though.
Yeah, but he was an MVP, right? So
yeah, I mean,
like he's 4 years removed from an MVP, and he's in his 20s.
I know that's crazy. Well, I feel like he did kind of like. I think injuries. Well, injuries are one thing, and like he did kind of fall off a bit, but.
I mean, you could also say, he had to start wearing a flak jacket, and like that's heavy and restricts our movement.
Yeah.
So you could say injuries affected his play as well.
Yeah, definitely. All right, number 9 and 10. Let's talk about those right now. So you have Jake Fromm at number 9, who we've talked about a lot.
Yeah, I already talked about Fromm.
Let's. I think we just move on. I have Brian Lewerke here. I do. He's out of Michigan State. I do think. Again, these two quarterbacks are probably never going to start, but I feel like they have like the traits of a good backup quarterback in the NFL. So that's why I have them there. There's not much I really else need to say. And you have Josh Love at number 10. I didn't really know that much about him, so
I just wanted to include another small school guy because I wanted to.
Small school guy, yeah.
He played well, but what I saw from him was a lot of times when he would just throw. Like I just watched his highlight tape because once I got past 8 or 9, there was nothing really to read about them. So it was just him throwing up the ball and then the wide receivers going and making a great catch against some terrible DB. But I mean, talking more about your guy, Nate Stanley, I mean, dude is like a tight end. He runs the ball.
I know. Yeah.
He's like a Saints guy, Taysom Hill.
Yeah.
So I think he could be like a 6th or 7th round guy that some team is hoping they could get that Wildcat Taysom Hill type thing.
Yeah, definitely. Big guy. Welcome to Iowa Tight End University. Kind of like that. All right.
Yeah.
But we've been talking about quarterbacks for a while. Jake, if this keeps up, we should probably just make 2 videos, just do offense and defense.
Yeah.
Do that later. All right. We'll see how long the other ones take, but quarterback took a while. Let's move on to running backs. So this is one where you have our first 2 are switched up. So you have J.K. Dobbins, I have DeAndre Swift. It's vice versa for number 2. So I guess I'll go first. I just think DeAndre Swift's better because he's a bit more versatile. But I also think that Dobbins is probably the best runner in the class. So I feel like just pure runner. So I feel like you could just like switch. I feel like they're pretty interchangeable guys, and it's really just going to be like a system fit for who wants them. Because if you're a team like Tampa Bay, where you don't really need a guy to do well in the passing game, you take a guy like J.K. Dobbins.
I mean, Dobbins was decent in the passing game,
Or wait, am I thinking of? I feel like DeAndre Swift is more versatile in the passing game. That's the thing.
I mean, DeAndre Swift is more elusive in the open field, but Dobbins is going to be the more between the tackles guy. Dobbins, to me, when he runs, he looks like Ezekiel Elliott. And I could not believe I was watching Ohio State games, obviously, because they play in a lot of primetime games.
Yeah, exactly.
Where everyone's talking about him as like a 2nd or 3rd round pick, and I cannot believe it. Like,
do you think he's going to go a lot higher?
Yeah, I think if the running back class or the running backs in general weren't so underrated, because everyone seems to think that they can find running backs anywhere, he should be a top 10 talent. Yeah,
I definitely think he should. It's really going to depend on like what the other teams think. I definitely think he's talented and all. He's probably right now. I still have him going round 2, probably, considering like what the teams want in the first round. But if for some reason like Tampa takes a tackle at whatever pick they have, then trades back in, I would not be surprised to see him go there. Or Jonathan Taylor, which is I had in my last mock draft. And now let's talk about him because he's both our number 3 talent. I just feel like he's kind of like Dobbins, just like a lot worse. Like, well, not a lot worse, but like you get what I'm saying.
I mean, he was that Wisconsin offense, so I'll be interested to see because I think he'll actually improve when he's not being because like teams would just stack the box against them because they ran the ball almost every single play. So I'd be interested to see when he gets less carries but more room in each carry. I think he could be a better fit for a late second round team who's already pretty good. I don't think he's going to do very well in a like I don't know. I don't want to say bad environment because that's so broad, but like a team with a bad offensive line, just because his skill set is like more between the tackles, and you can't really do that.
Yeah, you definitely need a good O-line for that. So we'll see what happens. All right, number 4. I have Lynn Bowden Jr., but honestly, you could really like. The only reason I have him there is he's more versatile than. Like he can do anything. That's literally the only reason I have him there. Let's just talk about Cam Akers right off the bat right now. He's your number 4, my number 5. Again, kind of like he's definitely if you're talking about a pure running back, then like you take Akers because I feel like he's definitely going to be. Where do you think he's going? Actually, let's just talk about that.
Yeah, I have him projected as a 3rd round just because if those 3 guys, I don't see any running backs going in the 1st round, and if those 3 guys are all taken in the 2nd. And as I said, I see Jonathan Taylor going late 2nd. I think Akers will fall maybe early 3rd. I mean, he's so dangerous and like sneaky fast once he gets outside. I said that. I mean, he's slow. I say fast once he gets outside because I think he looks slow to me. Most people say patient, but I think he looks slow running through the tackles. And that's going to be something that takes some development, getting that quickness instead of like starting and stopping is something different, but you have to be able to get going quicker.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely feel that with that. And then you had number 5, Lynn Bowden Jr., kind of like for the same reasons as me, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how anyone I wrote like how has no one noticed this kid? Like
I know. I saw the Niners were watching film on him from somewhere, so maybe we'll see what happens.
He ran for 1,500 yards last season and 17 touchdowns, and he also played receiver, quarterback, and punt returner in the SEC.
It's crazy. I know that's pretty crazy. I mean, he's obvious. Do you think he could start at quarterback or no?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. All right.
I think at best he's a Taysom Hill, but he's a lot smaller, which is
Speaking of Taysom Hill, has he been signed yet by anyone?
I thought he was with the Saints.
I think he needs a new contract though. Or am I thinking of Drew Brees? Here, wait, let me see.
Well, I know they put a 1st round tender on him.
Oh, okay. Then he's still with the Saints if they put a 1st round tender.
I don't really understand how does tenders work.
I don't know. I think it's like I don't really know. Well, I think like 2nd round tender is like you need to give. No, it's not like I don't even know like how it works, but we'll see what happens with. I think it's like it might be something with like compensation. I feel like, but I don't really know. I don't know. It's a contract situation in the NFL is always a bit confusing, but
yeah, but I mean, Hill is. I don't think he's ever going to be a starter, and I don't think he can be a backup. Like the guy, he's a versatile piece, but he's his own thing at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I say the same thing with Isaiah Simmons, where he's good at multiple positions, but he's more like a man without a position than a man with multiple. I don't know.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to 6 and 7. Again, we have the same 2 players interchangeable or interchanged, I should say. So I have Clyde Edwards. How do you pronounce that? Hilaire? I don't know.
I always just say Edwards Hilaire. I don't know.
Edwards Hilaire. All right, Clyde Edwards Hilaire as my number 6, and Zach Moss is my number 7. You have it the opposite way. I think the only reason I really put them in that way is because I feel like Clyde Edwards Hilaire is like more experienced. Again, SEC guy.
More experienced than Zach Moss. I mean, he's the leading rusher in Utah and in Utah history and maybe the Pac-12.
I mean, yeah, the only reason I'm saying like Clyde Edwards Hilaire is like I think most boards have him higher up than Zach Moss. Plus, like SEC guys like are always probably like if you had two guys that are like the exact same like SEC or Pac-12, SEC is gonna be ranked higher every time. I feel like.
Yeah, I could see that, but they play different games to me. I think Allaire is more like twitchy, and he's got that kind of speed. But I think that was also due to, I mean, LSU had hands down the best offensive line. I mean, you talk about Georgia's tackles are pretty good, but I think all around
LSU like all around definitely.
And Moss is like just, I mean, footwork is best in the class. I mean, he can stop on a dime, and that makes him super elusive. But either of them are both of them, I mean, are being hindered by the lack of running back appreciation is the best way I'd say it.
Yeah, totally. All right. You know, I'm kind of noticing we haven't talked about like the other positions yet, but the positions that the Niners need are going to be so much easier to talk about for me. I don't know why. Probably because I've been like
probably know about them.
Yeah. But it's like because like quarterback and running back, like I haven't been able to talk about them too much since I haven't really done any research on these guys until right now. But
yeah, running back's a little tougher just because no one mocks them in the first round. So when I listen to all these mocks, it's like
DeAndre Swift is like the only guy. I've seen Jonathan Taylor and DeAndre Swift go in first round in a few. That's Jake's dogs, by the way, right? I thought you put him upstairs, but
yeah,
he's more than welcome to join us. Or is she? Yeah, she.
Yeah, she just walked downstairs. I mean, she'll probably fall asleep here in a second.
Now my dog's coming. All right. Now, all right, 8, 9, and 10. So we both have Antonio Gibson. We both have Joshua Kelly. And then the other guy, you have JaMychal Hasty out of Baylor, and I have Keyshawn Vaughn out of Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
do you want to go through your rankings first? Yeah, let's do that.
The last three, I'll just read off what I wrote. Hasty, he didn't have like his speed wasn't super impressive. He's more like twitchy, like Edwards Allaire. He's a special teams player, which made him. That's where I think he'll spend the majority of his career.
I can get that
because he played defense on special teams, like most Baylor running backs, and offense, where I think he was a punt returner.
Yeah.
Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to do your 7?
No, you can keep going. You can keep going.
Gibson, I said he runs too vertical for me, where he's going to get injured.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like he kind of, and then he doesn't like play as quick as you think. I don't think he can put it into the next gear to like get through that second level of defense with a safety or deep linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, I think Kelly is obviously being hindered by UCLA being really, really bad.
I know.
When he was there, I think he's pretty good. Their offensive line has just been it's been a revolving door.
We'll see what Patch does there.
Yeah, I mean, he plays tight end though, so
Patch?
I mean,
Patch is not a tight end. Really? I thought he was recruited as a tackle.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I said he makes solid cuts and can catch the ball with excellent footwork. He reminds me a lot of Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I can totally see that. That's why I have
more in his role now with the Saints than with the Raiders or wait, no, he's on the Vikings now, right?
Yeah. No, he's on the Saints. No, Vikings. No.
Was it? I think it was Vikings first and now Saints.
It was like here, Latavius. I think Latavius
because he filled in for Ingram. That's right.
Yeah, Latavius Murray is a running back for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, where he comes in like you've got him and then the more like quick guy because he's not super speedy, but I could see him being that like okay, we need 4 yards. You're the guy, but he's not gonna be a number 1 running back. I mean, he might be for like a year, but. Yeah,
definitely. That's why. So that's kind of why I feel like 8, 9, and 10. Like I don't see them really being number 1 running backs, and I just kind of rank them that way just by like reading off of them. Like obviously they're raw talents, probably you can say, but I feel like Kelly, Keyshawn, Vaughn, and Gibson. I feel like that's just the order. Like if they had a chance to be a number 1 running back, that's what I really got there. So that's for running backs. And if we're talking about a fullback, A.J. Dillon out of Boston College, I feel like he's definitely the number one fullback in this class. He can also play running back too, so that's another good thing to have if you're a fullback. So that's why I got him as my best fullback. So, yeah. All right, let's move on to wide receivers. So obviously, I think this is definitely the most stacked position in the class. Would you agree with me?
I mean, yeah, I think it's the most stacked we've seen since
A while, maybe
yeah,
like
2014.
2014 was pretty.
Evans, Watkins, Odell.
Yeah.
But I mean, that one was also here. If I pull that up, I mean, you'd be surprised how deep it is.
I know. It's a really deep class. All right, but anyways, let's just get into our rankings. So top 3, we have Ruggs, Judy, CD in different order. So I have Judy first. I think he's just the best. He's been the best overall receiver like throughout the entire year. He didn't do well at the combine, but I don't think that's going to affect him too much because you like the combine. I don't know why. I mean, well, I do know why, but the combine always like declines a player, like makes a player fall in the draft. But I feel like it doesn't really impact everyone too much. Like you look at Orlando Brown Jr., one of the worst combine performances we've ever seen. He's probably a first-round talent, and he fell to like mid-third round. And did he make the Pro Bowl last year? I'm pretty sure he did, right?
I think he did. He was really good.
It really doesn't. I feel like it never really impacts you. And then you look at guys like DK Metcalf, one of the best combine performances we've seen in a while, and you still, even though he's good, like there was better talent that was taken over him, even though he completely outperformed all the other receivers at the combine. But
it's kind of we as the public kind of misconstrue what the combine actually is, because what it is it's supposed to be like, okay, you see a prospect, you've watched them all year, maybe you have some doubts about their speed or their strength or all that, and it's supposed to be them showing off their raw talent, not something to nitpick where, okay, I'm not going to take you because you did 9 bench presses or 9 whatever it's reps instead of 10. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I get that. So that's why I have Judy as 1. You have Ruggs as 1. Is it really like obviously he's like really fast and he's kind of like the guy that like you can throw the deep ball to him, I feel like, instead of Judy. So I feel like I can totally see why you have him as your top ranked receiver. I feel like other teams are going to be more high up on Judy or CD. I feel like CD, most teams are really high up on. Like I haven't seen that many mock drafts where if Judy and CD are available, I think I've seen most mock drafts going CD at that position.
Yeah, I see. I mean, if this is my like talking about who I would take just hands down, like 1 through 10, but I see like Judy's probably the first off. If the Jets are the first team to take a wide receiver,
it's going to be Judy. I think.
Judy, but I don't think. I think the Raiders probably take Ruggs or Lamb, and the Niners probably take Ruggs or Lamb.
Yeah, I feel like right now the Jets pick it's such a big pick because it's like they can either go, if they go tackle, that messes up Tampa's draft, and then they're gonna probably want to trade down, and then it's just gonna be like, and then that's where all the trades go. And then you look at if the Jets take a receiver, then Denver's kind of screwed because the Raiders and Niners are probably gonna take a receiver. And then they're receiving like all these other guys probably go off the board first round, even though like they may not deserve to go first round, even though they probably will because teams are just going to start being desperate. So I feel like it's such a big pick in this draft. So
I kind of disagree. I feel like I don't know. I'll show at some point. I'm working on a new mock draft right now, but I think all the wide receivers are going to slide back. I think the Jets don't end up taking. I think the Raiders trade back. I just think
you think the Raiders trade back.
Well, maybe not with 12, but with 19.
I think I can see them trading back with 19. I wouldn't see them trading back with 12. I think they're for sure going to take someone there because I feel like.
I mean, I don't know. If you read, like, I'm obviously a big Raiders fan, so I read a lot of their stuff. Mayock isn't a big like take a wide receiver. Like he's downplayed the need for a wide receiver in the first round. And I think if a guy like Laviska Shenault is there in the middle of
I
the
can
second.
totally see them taking him.
Yeah, I think he would be a perfect fit, or maybe like a T. Higgins, but that I don't know, that bigger guy who has that deep playability.
Yeah. All right. So I think that's pretty good with the top three. Let's move on to number 4. So you have Mims here, who both of us are really high up on. I have Mims at 5. I have Jefferson at 4. I think right now, the only reason I have Jefferson at 4 is I think he's for sure going to go higher than Mims.
Yeah, I tried to do it not based on like who's going to get drafted where, because I mean, it's pretty clear to see that Jefferson wasn't a guy you were thinking, okay, maybe he goes in the first round, but likely he's in that group with Higgins, Chenault, Ayuk, and all those guys that are going to be second, like, I don't know, depending on where teams feel like taking them.
Yeah.
But when he ran that time at the combine, it really upped his draft stock. But
yeah, totally.
I don't see that as being, like you said before, teams or the public overthinks draft stock based on the combine. Because
totally.
I don't think he plays that fast. Like, you look at other guys who ran what? He ran a 4.39 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, Mims is so much faster than him, and
but he didn't get that time that he wanted. So
I think that he is more in this other group, and me putting him at 7 was just to kind of demonstrate that, where really you could switch around. 4 through 7 are
interchangeable.
Yeah.
I feel like right now, you have Jefferson first round, right?
Jefferson, yeah, I have him. I think that him to the Eagles is a really.
I don't think the Eagles are going to pass up on him at 21. I think if he's there at 21, the Eagles are for sure going to take him.
Yeah, most mocks have that.
I think. I think that's like a consensus pick. And then Mims, I have 5. You kind of just talked about what I said there. We both have Laviska Shenault at number 6. So I want to talk about him for a bit. I feel like he definitely has the potential to become a number 1 receiver in the NFL. It's just like his injuries are holding him back. Like, he is glass right now.
Yeah, I think that some team is gonna ignore the injuries and take him in the first round because.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, if you watch him, he's big, he's fast, he's athletic, he's got good hands. I think he is. I mean, so good at contested catches. I see him as one of my favorite receivers. Him and Mims are probably above the rest in the top 5. But I feel like what people ignore is people are thinking, okay, you've got your top 3, and then it's kind of falls a chunk. I feel like that gap is a little bit smaller than you would think.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. Like the top, I feel like I know it's definitely a gap, but it's not like it's not like gargantuan, I guess you could say. So, but yeah, that's why I feel like with the same thing. All right, number 7. So you have Jefferson, who we kind of talked about a lot. Yeah. I have Rieger, who's I was surprised to not see him on your list. I feel like
I was not a big fan of Rieger.
You're not. I know. Yeah, you're not a big fan. He definitely has like. He's kind of like. I think a lot of people are fans of also KJ Hamler. I'm not a big fan of him either. I feel like you can say the same thing for Rieger, but I just like. He's really talented. That's why I have like. I think he could definitely go first round. I think he's probably going to go second, but like he obviously needs to work on his drops because he has a bit too much of those. But other than that, I just feel like he's extremely talented. I think he's going to be a great guy to develop, and that's why I have him going as my number 7 overall receiver there.
Yeah, I think that with guys like Rieger and Hamler would be one of my top guys not on here. Rieger, not so much. But I think that Hollywood Brown being that small, really light, just not like, but just uber fast guy last year, everyone's like, okay, now all really fast small guys are gonna make it in the NFL. I mean, he's a perfect scheme fit for what they're looking for in Baltimore, and that's why he succeeds. So I wasn't super impressed with Rieger. I mean, you showed me the thing. It's like over 20% drops. I mean, I don't know. You want to say something?
Yeah, it was like 16 or something like that. 16 point something percent. But we'll talk about another guy who was on that list that really caught our eyes later. But let's move on to number 8. You have Tyler Johnson. I think he was definitely really high up. I don't what happened to him because I feel like he was really high up with a lot of other scouts before.
I
didn't see what
don't really know.
happened.
He looks to me like somewhat similar to maybe Alshon Jeffrey, where he
Yeah, I
could be
can see that.
that big guy who's he's not a tight end, but he's like really big. And I watched him against who's the TCU corner, that Jeff Gladney.
Gladney, yeah.
I really watched that game where Johnson got a couple catches because he was just able to use his height so well.
Yeah,
Even
I
though
know.
Gladney was playing a great game and kind of shutting him down. But yeah,
Yeah, so I can definitely see him. Where do you have him going?
I have Johnson going. I could see second in probably true talent, but he could slip to the third based on where the other guys
Yeah,
fall.
I can totally see that. I think that's probably most of these receivers are probably second, third round talents. Ayuk, I had him going first round. I think he's a really good scheme fit in a lot of places. I think another reason he's kind of falling, like I think he can definitely go higher, but I think one of the reasons he's falling is the performance of N'Keal Harry last year. Same system, kind of the same guy there. And N'Keal Harry hasn't really been panning out in the NFL from what it seems. So that's why I feel like Ayuk's falling. But I can definitely see him maybe first, second round pick, maybe third. We'll see what happens there. I want to talk about your number 9. This was the other guy that really stood out to us on the thing about Rieger with drops. This guy had like little to no drops. Antonio Gandy-Golden. I love this kid.
Yeah, I wrote he's a number 1 wide receiver potential. He passes the eye test,
Definitely.
length, height, hands, footwork, contested catch ability, and somewhat polished route running. I think that could be something to work on, but small school, he didn't really need to, so you don't really know how that could develop.
Yeah, that's why I have him kind of low too at 10. I feel like there's probably there's going to be a lot of receivers that go ahead of him, in my opinion, because right now I've seen him going rounds 4 or 5, which I think it's going to be a really good steal for whoever gets him. Number 9, I have T. Higgins because I feel like he's another first round talent. Or I wouldn't say like, I don't know if like you would say first round talent necessarily, but like he's some guy that could go in the first round. That's why I have him at number 9. I think he's kind of that last guy. And then Gandy-Golden at 10, as you were just saying.
I have Ayuk at 10. I had him at 8 above Johnson and Gandy-Golden, but then when I saw his core muscle surgery, I was kind of it's the same thing with same surgery as Chenault. So I don't know. I think that slid his stock just slightly.
Yeah, I can definitely see that right now. So all right, so now let's move on to tight end. So tight end, we only have one ranking that Jake did. Reason he did it is because he's watched a lot more film, done a bit more research than I have. Tight end, let's just put this out the way right now. This is one of the weakest tight end class we've seen in a while. So there's really a few guys that could be good, and then everyone else is just like, it's just going to be like they're going to draft because it's like a system fit, not really trying to find somewhere to be a number 1 tight end. So I want to hear what Jake has to say about this ranking. So go for it.
I have issues with all these guys, and I think I'll go through them quickly. Claypool, I mean, obviously he's coming from wide receiver, but I think he translates into a tight end easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Where he's very fast for a tight end. A lot of people say matchup nightmare. Similar to like Noah Fant from last year, except I think he's actually a better blocker than Fant, but he doesn't have those insane measurables or isn't that good a blocker. But those are things that, and I didn't mean measurables. I meant like speed. I mean, he's fast, but he's not next level. Troutman, I was not impressed with him when I watched his game film at Dayton, because it seemed like whenever he was catching the ball, he was absolutely wide open, just no one around him.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's great, man, but that seems like not really your doing. But when I came back and I read some stuff and watched a couple more videos, I mean, this guy could be dynamic at the next level, and that's probably what makes him an early 3rd round pick. just because he has above average receiver like ability. He's really tall. He's somewhat fast. He's an okay blocker, I guess. Overall, well-rounded athlete, but we can't really judge what he did because I mean he was dominant at Dayton.
Yeah, I know. But again, another kind of weak conference, so that's why I think a lot of people have him low. I think, in my opinion, he's probably like out of all the tight ends, he probably has the best potential.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I would say that if it wasn't Claypool, just because we don't really know what Claypool can do yet. Because
that's the thing. Because wide receiver, but I feel like out of like all the pure tight ends, he's probably has the most potential. I think Col Mcdonald's going to go higher than him, probably. But I want to hear what you have to say about him.
Yeah. Basically, what I read about him is he's he's explosive after the catch, but he looks to me like he's stiff and he can't block. And
yeah, I can totally
value that a lot more than you'd think, because like a guy like Eric Ebron is getting paid like only $6 million, and I mean he's a really good receiver.
Yeah,
but he's not like that's why the Colts carried Doyle and I don't remember what their third tight end's name is, but Hunter Bryant, great blocking tight end, had some injury issues. And
where do you think he's going?
I have the tight ends not really starting until the third round. I think Claypool goes in the second, and the rest like Troutman, Komet go in the third, and then Bryant, I would say third or fourth. He didn't run as fast as people thought he should have at the combine, but I think game speed is more important.
Yeah.
And then a guy that I'm really excited about is, I think this is Randy Moss's son, right? Thaddeus Moss.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
LSU, great hands, good blocker. He's not a deep downfield target, which limits his potential. He's not going to be whatever Kittle or Jimmy Graham in his prime. I mean, he's not that guy, but he's a reliable receiver, and I see him as maybe a middle tier starter, upper tier backup tight end.
Yeah, I can definitely see that
because he's a solid blocker.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Hunter Bryant, you said like how he's one of the best blocking tight ends. I think the Niners would really, they need a block, like just a guy who can like pure block at tight end, because right now they have Kittle, they have Dwelly, who's okay. They lost their like Levi Toilolo, who's, I don't think you know him, but like he was just like there just for like pure blocking, and he was pretty decent at it. So I feel like they're going to need a guy. I've also heard that they might want to move Jalen Hurd to tight end. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to work out.
Big enough to play tight end? I thought he was kind of skinny.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. He can play running back, tight end, or wide receiver. But I think they draft him as a wide receiver. They might try to move him to tight end. I saw a report that they might try and move him to tight end and not take another not take a tight end in the class, which I really don't like that idea, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, all right, you can continue. I just want to put that out for
I think the last guy that I'll talk about is Bryson Hopkins. The rest of them are
just like trash.
They're
not trash.
Probably not even going to make the roster, to be honest. Maybe Harrison Bryant, but I doubt it. And Hopkins, I hear a lot of the same things from Hopkins as I do CeeDee Lamb, in that everything is smooth and he's got these like yards after the catch and he doesn't block. His hands aren't phenomenal and he's quick for a tight end, but that's for a tight end. And I don't see him translating at all.
Yeah. All right. So that's, tight end, as we were saying, kind of one of the weaker positions in this class. Let's move on to a position that's not that weak. And I think we should do this, the last position of this video, and then do a separate video maybe tomorrow on defense. But offensive line, I think this is definitely a really strong offensive line class, specifically tackle. I feel like interior line and centers are not that strong, but definitely tackle, one of the strongest classes we've seen in a while. Not like, obviously not like up there as like the wide receiver, but definitely really strong. So let's get right into it. So you have Andrew Thomas as your number one, who a lot of people don't have. I want to hear about that.
Okay, Andrew Thomas, I mean, it's pretty simple. I just wrote like natural fit at left tackle, and he has the most experience of any of the O linemen here. He's played at a high level at a D1. Georgia's SEC, right?
Yeah, SEC.
Yeah, I mean, all these other guys, they talk about explosion and potential and all that. But really, with an O lineman, you want a guy that you can anchor and will sit there year in, year out and be a reliable tackle. So I think that's Thomas. And though he might, I mean, he's definitely not going to go to the Giants at 4, so he won't be the first line. I mean, they might take Simmons, but he's not. He will be a very solid guy for maybe the Browns. That's probably
Browns. I think the Jets. I think the Jets are also like that's another possibility right there. If the Jets, if Browns, he might Jets, even fall to the Bucks. Yeah. But speaking of the Giants, you were just saying the number 4 pick. I think it's either going to be Simmons or this guy right here, Tristan Wirfs. Definitely the most versatile in this class because he can play center, not center or guard, tackle or guard. Big guy out of Iowa. Another big guy out of Iowa. Definitely one of the best tackles we've seen in a while, I feel like. Just like pure talent-wise, I feel like he's really talented. That's why I have him going probably. I think I have him going 8 in my mock draft right now to Arizona, but he can also fall number 4. Go to number 4 to the Giants. So that's why I'm at number 1. Number 2, we both agree on this. Jedrick Wills, Alabama. I think he's definitely the best pure tackle in this class. Like when you look at Wirfs, the only reason I kind of have him a bit higher is like he's both good at both tackle and guard, while Wirfs is just like really good at tackle. That's why I think
Wills and Becton are hands down better run blockers, but I think the other two are more polished overall. Because I don't think they can improve because obviously they're big guys, athletic. Specifically, Wills plays with a chip on his shoulder. So he could improve in the passing game, but that's why I would say he's not my number 1, because I think if you're talking about a number 1 guy that can be your franchise left tackle, top 10 pick, I think Thomas is just edging him out.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Number 3, I have Thomas. We've talked about him a lot. You have Wirfs. Do you want to talk about that, or do you think we're good with that?
Wirfs, I just said raw athletic, play both tackle spots. As you said, can move inside to guard. I mean, that versatility is very important.
Yeah. I also just want to one more time plug Jake's Draft Hub in. This is where he like ranks all the prospects and everything. So make sure to check it out if you want any more on this. If you feel like we're not talking about enough, make sure to either leave it in the comments or go right here. Show that like there's a lot on there that you can read about. So yeah, make sure to do that. Number 4, we both have Becton. His stock definitely raised because of the combine, but I definitely think he's still like one of the better tackles in this draft. So that's why I have him number 4.
Yeah. When you come in at 6'8", 370, like
I know, and run like a ridiculous 40 time.
That's
gonna blow scouts away. But I definitely think he's probably the best run blocker in this class. In my opinion, I think Wills, even though he's a decent run blocker, I feel like the reason he's higher is because he's really good at pass blocking and run blocking. So, meanwhile, Becton's just like overall better run blocker. So that's why I got him at number 4. Another pick we agree on, number 5, Josh Jones. I definitely think there's a gap between the top 4 and Josh Jones.
Yeah, a bit. He's more developmental than the other guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I argued between him and Ruiz, but I figured Ruiz ends up going to the team that needs a center, I feel like, more than anything else. So that's what Jones is more like valuable tackle position. So that's why I ended up putting Jones higher.
Yeah, and Ruiz, we got him at number 6. Probably definitely the best center in this class. I think he can play guard too, but he's listed as a center on most boards. So yeah, that's what we got with Ruiz. Probably going to go late first round, early second round from what I'm seeing. And then number 7. So we have this is another pick we interchange. Number 7 and number 8. You have Cleveland first. I have Jackson first. I just think Jackson's probably the better tackle, just my opinion. I feel like he's just like better overall everything. I feel like he's a bit more developed than Cleveland. So that's why I got him at number 7. I want to hear what you have to say about that.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear enough to distinguish them. I kind of threw Cleveland in front just because I'd seen him going higher in some mocks. who listed him as a first-round talent. I don't know. They could go either way.
Yeah. All right. And then number 9 and 10. So we both have Cushenberry on this list. Probably.
I mean, he's the clear number 2 interior.
Number 2 center. Yeah, definitely. Out of LSU. So I have him 9. You have him 10. Your number 9 is Isaiah Wilson out of Georgia. He's a tackle, right? Am I correct?
I mean, dude is a monster, and I think I've seen him going lately to the Titans at 30.
Really? I've seen Titans taking like I've seen Josh Jones fall into them, or Austin Jackson.
I mean, this guy, if Becton wasn't in this class, he would be way higher. He's 6'7", 350, crazy good run blocker. He needs to improve at his pass blocking, but he's only 20 years old, only at his sophomore year at Georgia. I mean,
how does he draft if he only did it? How can he enter the draft only? Oh, you're right.
Yeah. But I see him as a future. He's going to be a scheme fit when he gets picked in this draft. So he either goes end of the first or end of the second. There's not really a team that's super needy in that pure run blocking sense. But I think he's a better run blocker than Conklin, who the Titans lost.
Yeah,
he's not as solid in the passing game, but that's not super important to them. I don't know.
All right. Yeah. And I have Prince Tega Wanogo. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
And number 10, I just think if he develops, he's going to be a beast. He's, again, a bit raw, but I definitely think he definitely has a lot of potential. That's why I have him at number 10 over Isaiah Wilson. I think Wilson's definitely number 11 for me. And we didn't put any guards on this list, but I think, in my opinion, the best guard in this class is that guy. I forget his name, out of Fresno State, probably.
See the guy who got injured?
I have no clue. I have no clue about. I don't really watch college football.
The guy who got. I had heard about some guy who got injured from Louisiana Tech. I don't.
Louisiana. No, I know who you're talking about. That's another guy. I think the Fresno State guys. I think the Fresno State guy's a bit better, but that other guy's definitely going to be another pick. Probably both. One's definitely going to be a round 3 pick, and then the other was probably going to be like round 4, maybe. But we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, those are our top 10 for the offense. I think we're going to make a separate video to do the defense. We've been streaming for over an hour. It took a bit longer than I thought. So we're going to do a separate video for the defense. That will come your way some other time. Jake and I will discuss that later. But anything else you want to say before we end this?
No. See you next time.
See you next time. All right, perfect. Yeah, thank you guys all for watching, and I will see you for the defensive ranking. Go Niners.